Hello, it's Monica, and we have just few days before Christmas. I've got very quick project for you using one dye for two different styles. If you want to create something beautiful, elegant and unique for Christmas, you still have time. So let's have a look at what you can create using just one cutting dye. If you like all those projects, I really hope you'll enjoy today's tutorial and craft along with me. I'm going to use beautiful Decadent Butterfly cutting dye from Crafter's Companion. As you can see, it is meant to create 3D projects for spring. However, if you use beautiful Centura pearl card, like in this case, I'm going to use Snow White, you can create very beautiful winter scenes. And that was the idea behind this video, to use that beautiful Snow White Centura pearl card and actually add that beautiful shine to all the projects. So I die cut it 8 times, so this will give me enough dimension for a stand-alone project. And if you have this die, please experiment with it, because you can achieve so many different techniques. Now first, as you can see, we're going to create a 3D make. So I'm using the scoring lines on the die cuts, and if you struggle, like I do here, you can use a bone folder to help you fold and score all those lines. So I encourage you to do so, because this way your job will be so much quicker and easier. So when these elements will be all scored and folded, I wonder, have you actually seen my previous video using the same dye? And I use Winter Wonderland collection from Relatively Thoughtful. If you haven't, check the link at the top right corner. As it is nearly Christmas, I wonder how many Christmas cards have you created this year? Please let me know in the comments down below. I still have few days before Christmas, so I can still make a couple of them. If you're still making them, please let me know how many are you planning to make. Maybe I'm not the last person to create even more cards just before Christmas. And I wonder, how many have you created so far? And if you have created any of the 3D Christmas project, I would really like to know which one did you make. Did you create a snow globe, or maybe pop-up box, or maybe even something different? So please let me know in the comments down below. When all of these elements are scored and folded, I'm going to use my one and only liquid glue, magic glue, to put them together. And as you can see, they fold really flat. So that is a bonus, which means you can actually put that card in a flat envelope. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So this is ready. Now it is time to actually use a stamp, and I'm going to use Creative Stamping Magazine issue 100. It is my totally favorite issue. As you can see, the stamp set collection, it is so amazing. So if you do have this issue, I encourage you to use any of the stamps. And if you haven't seen my video with that penguin, check the link in the top right corner. You won't be disappointed. So I chose the Nativity scene from the stamp set collection. It is my #1 when it comes to Christmas. So I really wanted to use it again. I'm going to use my scrap piece of 300 GSM multi-purpose card and a cushion I got when I bought some acrylic blocks for stamping. And I'm going to use Memento black ink. However, if you have a different black ink, that will be absolutely fine. You just have to make sure that you use ink that is compatible with the media you're going to use. In my case, I'm going to use alcohol markers to color in my images. However, if you want to use watercolor markers or zig markers, you have to use waterproof ink. Now I'm going to use Tri-Blend markers from Spectrum Noir, and I'm going to use those 2 sets. But later on, I'm also going to use some other markers from my stash as well, which will be Tri-Blend as well. I really like them because you have very dark, medium and light in every single color in the pen, and this is absolutely amazing. First, it is perfect for blending, but you also have very nice color variation in the same color family. So if you don't have those pens, maybe Christmas, Christmas is coming, maybe that is on your wish list. And I absolutely love those pens. I use them very often in my card making, and they are literally my way to go when it comes to coloring very quick and small images. However, for the big images, they are not that perfect because the nib is super small. But if they make those pens with chisel nib, that would be my goal. I'm going to use my tri-blend markers, and if you've seen the video where I created that storage box, check the link in the top right corner. So I'm going to use variety of some pens to add more interest to my elements. And yes, you can do that as well. You can use variety of alcohol markers you've got in your stash. You don't always have to use the same brand for every single element. You can always mix and match different brands, and that will be perfect as well. Because usually alcohol markers blend really beautifully together. But the trick to it is to use proper card. Like in this case, I'm using 300 GSM white multi-purpose card. It is perfect for stamping and alcohol markers. And when this is ready, I'm going to use my scissors to fussy cut those two elements. So in this case, I'm not have any of the cutting dice, I'm literally using my scissors. And this shape, it is super simple to cut out. So when this is ready, I also wonder, what is your favorite Christmas tradition? We have just few days left, and I wonder, have you decorated your Christmas tree? I started a really nice tradition in my family, and every year I try to give them crochet snowflakes as a small gift with the Christmas card. Now, to add a little bit more interest to my 3D project, I used the leftover from the cutout we created, and using a circular die, I'm going to cut a smaller circle. But it has to be bigger than our element. And with the leftover, I can use them for different projects. So I'm going to leave them for future. Now, when this is ready, I decided to add a little bit of color. And in this case, I'm going to use Shimmer by Spectrum Noir called Tropic Blue. It is Pearlescent pigment ink, which means it dries very long. If you want to speed it up, you can use your heat tool. However, I'm using Centura Pearl card, and I didn't want to risk actually burning the card. So I left these elements for about 5 minutes to dry. And for even more dimension and color variation, I decided to use Distress Oxide ink in Price Ribbon color. And I think that really adds so much to the whole project. Actually, later on, I'm going to show you even more projects I created with this stamp set and the same die. So stay tuned until the end of the video. When these elements are ready, it is time to actually create the spinning mechanism. So you can use any thread you've got in your stash. I've got embroidery thread in this case, but you can use even ribbon. That would be perfect as well. Just to make sure I'm not going to damage any of my glass surface, to clean it off later, I'm going to use a scrap piece of card. And this is the best way if you want to save some time with cleaning. So this is my embroidery thread, and I'm going to use my red liner tape to attach those two together. And I think red liner tape is the best option when it comes to spinning projects. If you agree, or maybe you have different option, please let me know in the comments down below, because I don't really make that many spinning elements on my projects, but maybe I will change it with time. So I also apply even more red liner tape just to make sure the string is totally secure, and that will hold it and we can spin over and over again the same element. As you can see with the nativity scene, I kept the colors exactly the same because I'm going to put them on both of the sides on the spinning mechanism. So if you want, you can use different colors for the outfits, but that is totally up to you. Now I'm going to add a little bit more dimension to my project, and I'm going to use double-sided foam adhesive. And I think that really makes a difference, especially in real life. I'm pretty sure in the video you can't really see the difference, but to be honest, when I look at the finished project, I'm so happy with the dimension the double-sided foam adhesive creates. Now I'm going to put the same element on the other side, and our spinning mechanism will be complete. So then it will be time to put it on a project. But I know this video, it is pretty long, but to be honest, in real time, it didn't really take that much time. I think it took me about 45 minutes to create this card. So if you have any of the cutting die, like in this case I've got Decadent Butterfly, if you have something similar, please try and experiment, because you'll be totally amazed how beautiful the result is in real life. Now I'm going to use my one and only liquid glue, magic glue, to assemble all those panels together. And as you can see, I only put the glue on one of the sides. And using a book binding glue, you do have time to maneuver all those elements, which is crucial, especially in that project, because as you can see, there are so many intricate elements, and it really makes a difference if you have time to maneuver all of them. If you make a mistake. So when this is ready, I'm going to start assembling the spinning mechanism as well. And as I said before, what's really good about this project, it actually flat. It is really flat, and you can put it in the envelope. And coming back to the Christmas traditions, how do you decorate your Christmas tree? Please let me know in the comments down below. Maybe every single year you have different color scheme, or maybe you have the same Christmas bubbles every year, or maybe you add one every single year. And I really want to know, do you prefer the beautiful glass bubbles which are handmade and decorated by amazing artists, or do you actually create or make your own Christmas tree decorations? And if you do, please let me know, how do you make them? Are they 3D or 2D? I really want to know. As you can see, the project really starts to get together, and yes, it will be 3D. So that is exactly what we want here. And when this is ready, it is time to actually assemble our spinning mechanism. And again, I'm going to use my red liner tape just to make sure it is totally secure. And at this point, I do encourage you to actually tangle the thread a little bit. Just don't leave it straight and don't cut it off straight away. As you can see, I'm trying to put it on the left and on the right, and then I'm going to apply even more red liner tape on top, because that will hold it together forever, especially if you add a few drops of liquid glue. So yes, you can use that technique, and this project is a showstopper. So you can actually put it on the shelf or on your desk, and it will be a beautiful keepsake for every single Christmas, and you can decorate your table as well for the beautiful Christmas dinner. So when this is ready, it is time to actually put our last bit of die cut here on top. And as you can see, with the last one, I'm going to keep it flat, but you can always fold it, because yes, as I said before, you can put it in a flat envelope. So when this is ready, the only thing that is missing so far is the sentiment. And for all my projects today, I decided to have a sentiment in Polish. So with the leftover card, the Centura Pearl card, I stamped Merry Christmas in Polish using StazOn ink, and I fussy cut it, and then you will see it. But in this case, I'm going to use beautiful Centura Pearl in gold, and I'm going to die cut the sentiment. So yes, you can do that as well. And I actually cut it twice, which means I can put it on both of the sides. So when it spins, you'll have exactly the same sentiment. And I wonder, have you ever created a spinning Christmas project? If you haven't, maybe today is the day, because you still have time before Christmas. And if you feel inspired, please let me know in the comments down below. I also want to take the opportunity here and thank all the subscribers on my channel and everyone who watches all my videos. That really means so much to me, and reading all your comments always put a massive smile on my face. So the first project is done. Now it is time for the second one. Again, I'm going to use that Decadent Butterfly cutting die, and I use my scan and cut machine, and I created an offset cut, and this way I've got the base for the card for the front and for the back. So yes, you can use that technique, but first I use that beautiful snow white Centura Pearl and then 300 GSM white multi-purpose card. And literally these are the elements I'm going to use for today's project. And again, I'm going to use the same leftover from this die cut you can see here to add a little bit more interest and dimension. And at this point, I really encourage you to experiment with whatever you've got in your stash. I mean, any color medium. Because here, I'm going to use the same Distress Oxide ink and Shimmer Pearlescent Pigment ink from Noir. But for some of the projects you will see later on, I also colored it in with alcohol markers using a chisel nib. So yes, you can do that as well. And if you struggle with ink blending here, I encourage you to have a small piece of scrap paper because we don't want to leave any fingerprints here. And as I said before, the Shimmer Pigment ink pad, it is very juicy and it dries for a very long time, so please don't leave any fingerprints here. So when this is ready, especially with the prize ribbon on all the edges for extra interest, I'm going to adhere it on the card. But it is time to stamp our beautiful nativity scene, and this time I'm going to use StazOn ink. And I think actually in the end it gave me even better result than the Memento ink. So with your stamps, I do encourage you to actually experiment first before you do your final stamping, and it's always a good idea to have a cushion underneath. It is time to color in our image, and as usual I use my alcohol markers. I use exactly the same tri-blend markers from Noir you saw earlier. However, this time I'm trying to use different color scheme for extra interest. So in the end I actually created 7 projects. The first one is 3D and then 6 flat cards, which will go in a flat envelope as well as the first project. And now for this one, I decided to use a little bit of purple on Joseph, because why not? No one will ever stop you. And to be honest, I really think the blues and purples work really well together. And if you agree, please let me know. I also wonder what is your totally favorite color combo for Christmas. I really like blues, especially those frosty blues, and that white snow pearlescent card. It is so pretty, and I think it is literally my go-to at the moment when it comes to Christmas. Do you have your totally favorite card for Christmas? If you do, I really want to know what it is. And now when this element is ready, we can start assembling all of them. And again, I'm going to use my one and only liquid glue, magic glue, to put all those elements together. And again, I'm going to add a little bit of dimension to my element by using double-sided foam adhesive. So as you can see, these cards are pretty simple, but they are very effective because we use that beautiful pearlescent card, and I do encourage you to use them for very special makes because they really give that, let's say, luxurious look to your makes. So if you have it, please use it for your Christmas makes. Now I'm going to use my scoring board to create a top flap on the back panel. And then I'm going to fold it, burnish and adhere those 2 elements together. And our card will be nearly complete. All we have to do is to add a sentiment. As I told you before, I use StazOn ink on the same pearlescent card from Crafter's Companion, and I use Merry Christmas in Polish. To add a little bit more interest, I'm going to use one of the alcohol markers and create a small border all around. So yes, you can use that trick. You don't always have to have 2 mats and layers for the sentiments. You can literally use any ink you've got or alcohol markers, and that will work as well. Now I'm going to add even more dimension using double-sided foam adhesive, and the card will be complete. As you can see, so far I haven't used any of the gems here because I think that pearlescent card is luxurious enough. We don't really need any more sparkle, because in real life the whole card, and especially the Shimmer Pigment ink from Noir, they give such a beautiful shine. And yes, the card can stand flat on a flat surface, and now I'm going to show you all the projects I created. So this is the very first one I created with you, and I wonder which one do you prefer more, the 3D one or the 2D one? And these are the cards I created off camera. As you can see, I use variety of colors here, and for the very last one here, I created a stained glass window effect using alcohol markers, and then I use black on top. So if you like this technique, please let me know in the comments down below. And this is the card I created with you. Thank you so much for watching and spending that time with me. Don't forget to like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And you still have time to create something for Christmas, and if you do, share it in the comments down below. Have a wonderful day and happy crafting!